be played on a bunker as chosen by Rise. UYU chose training grounds, and then there's district. All right, boys, break it up for me. Ribs, you got any words for me on these map selections?
I mean, the auto ban's extremely standard. Every team knows to get rid of Exhibit versus UYU. Icebound getting taken out by UYU. And then, yeah, Bunker being the pick for Rise, that's fine. I mean, they won it by 1 round yesterday versus Pittsburgh Knights. So, like I said, they could learn from those rounds they did lose and try to lock it up here versus another strong team. But now Training Grounds, Ryan, UYU picking Training Grounds. I knew you knew it was up to like Basgar or Training Ground, right? We knew they weren't going to let Icebound through. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm very surprised, actually. I kind of figured that they would end up picking Vasgar against this Rise
so
team
did I.
instead of Training Grounds. So maybe, like I said, maybe the boys on UYU have a little bit of a trick under their sleeve. Maybe they have some new strategies they're bringing into this matchup on Training Grounds. Nonetheless, though, I think we both know this. If this Rise team is going to win this event, they are going to have good enough performances on Training Grounds or Vasgar. It's kind of one of those maps is going to kind of be the X factor for them to potentially win this tournament. And then if we go all the way down to the wire on District, we actually saw UYU pick District in one of their prior series as well. So that shows me
to laugh at how terrible I am. We have finally gotten loaded in to Bunker. We have Rise. We have UYU. Map number 1. Things are going to go hot and heavy with a down already onto Rushies.
Powers wasting no time, and what a kill to take out Rushies, the big slayer for Rise. This is the longest respawn timers of the half. UYU knows that they're trying to press forward just a little bit, but realizing they're attacking 2 hills at once, Powers gonna back up just a moment. I say for just a moment because you see him switching along with Gilbert Explosive to push forward. Longest respawn timers of the half. Players from Rise are spawning up. They're trying to get into position, but UYU knows another round of slaying is needed. Explosive's getting one, Powers getting another, the flank coming through. Rushies is going to go down, and UYU rise up in round number 1 to start off hot.
45 seconds, less than a minute from that initial down from on Rushies where they pressed up on every single fight. They did not step back. They did not hold the 2-cap setup. They said, guys, we are going to go forward. We're going to get a triple cap domination or an elimination domination. It does not matter. We are not going to let them get a single inch in this one, and we are going to take a 1.5 miles.
So you see, when it comes down to the weapon selection, Colin, you and I both know, especially after some matches we saw last night, utility seems to be the go-to play in Gears esports right now. Bunker's one of the maps you put the smokes down, and then you upgrade them slowly towards Ensigns. That will be a huge weapon used later on in the game, but opening up once more, we're going to boy on board Powers in 2 rounds in a row. He's going to go and get first blood. This time it's on Enzum.
I'm going to see what Powers does here. He actually hears about one member up top. They get a little double cross there onto Avexis, and that scoreboard, that kill feed lights up blue yet again. That's 4 dead. Inzem's gonna get off a respawn. Franchise by himself at B. He turns around, sees 2 in front of him, and oh, by the way, the boogeyman mental himself is behind you. Up to Inzem to get in there and get a touch. They're gonna have to fly at this A-hill. Rushies might not have a chance to get in. He gets the 1 shot down and the touch. They're gonna have a chance to get back into this as more members of Rise will come off of respawn. But oh, by the way, Explosive sneaks around the back. Lancer from behind, and there is not a damn thing Rise can do about it right now. They've got to slow things down. You talked about the initials.
I need a medic!
You got to talk about the initials early on for Rise. You said that was the important thing for them. They had to get ahead of UYU in those initials, and right now they are failing in that, honestly, miserably.
I think this is going to be one of the biggest rounds for Rise in this map number 1. As you see, Ensign's getting upgraded. I talked about that the last round. Rise cannot go down into a 3-0 hole to this UYU squad, playing a lights out all event long so far. So coming up into this next round, I'm going to have to see something convincing out of Rise, particularly probably Rushies and Enzim, the 2 biggest slaying stars of the squad.
I like this. Rushman has already changed up his strat. First 2 rounds, he goes to the bunker. He gets down, gets killed, and it opens things wide up for UYU to press across the map. This time, he rotates down to the artillery, puts himself in that little hidey hole, and is able to shoot across at any members of UYU that are trying to sneak around. Incendiary grenade, a little bit long. Franchise goes down. They're going to have a free revive on him, and now Praise is moving up. Wrap shot on the Rushies and gets him down. Praise will be falling next, but Powers from behind gets the save. Man has a cape on. Call him Superman. The misroll out from Inzem, trying to get out of hell and dodge. He will go down as well, and you can see that Icy knows the pressure will be mounting, and UYU, instead of pushing forward, they do a little head fake, a little bait and switch. They say, you know what? We've pressured you guys enough. We might have you shaky already. Let's just back up, go for this 2-hill cap. We dare you to come off of respawn.
Yeah, it looked like right there, Powers just high on adrenaline, pressing forward after that massive triple kill for his squad. But I want to break it down. That you see the difference between the first round and this one, where UYU pressed forward for the triple cap domination, another round of slaying. The reason why they did not do that here is because of the respawn times being ever so short compared to how they were before. Rise was already up, back in for a defense. So now we're leading over toward the neutral gal. Then a couple of downs coming through, but Rise finally getting some big kills for their squad. But once again, that man, 12-1-2, Powers putting on a clinic for UYU, shuts them down yet again, rotating around the map. He's trying to put a stop to this neutral hill, finally being shut down by Avexis. Hopefully that is going to be enough to gain some momentum on the side of Rise. And they have 2 hills in their control. They're thrown so away from getting the lead as well. So this might be the round that they get.
Now Kenny's going to rotate in. He's going to pick Mental back up. Mental and Kenny here in that middle cut. They're on that middle barrier. And great Lancer work from the top of the bunker. That's going to get it down, and they're going to be able to secure that kill. Explosive going down as well. You're going to see a couple of kills coming through for Rise at the moment, and Mental's going to get himself a free one as another hop comes out from Rushies. Takes him out yet again. He'll be down to just 1 respawn in this. I'll be curious to see if they continue to invest, especially if UYU gets a 2-to-1 hill advantage and is able to pressure a point lead on it to Rise. And Rushy has indeed respawned into this one, so he's going to have to play a little bit carefully. He doesn't want to put himself on just 1 respawn going into the last round of the half and make it even harder and possibly go down 4-0. We're going to have a 2v2 breakout down here at the radar dish. And this is pretty important if you ask me. This 2v2 could be the round and maybe even the momentum.
1v1 Vexys versus Explosive on the other side of the map. Explosive doesn't know he's there. Vexy's gonna get a free break this late in the game. That could be huge for Rise as Intim picks up another kill. A couple players fighting for their own home hill back. Nobody getting points just yet, but Vexy's towards the back end. He's doing it. 2 hills going over in favor of Rise this late in the game. That is an all-star play coming out from Vexys.
And he has to make those all-star plays. You see him come out of that home hill now. He's going to rotate up to the bunker. Rise is going to get members onto the B hill. They're going to be able to get that decap as well. UYU knows what kind of position they're in. They have about 2 more seconds to get decaps everywhere, but with the A hill still secured for Rise, they will finally get around on the board, and it will be 2-to-1, still in favor of UYU, but a lot of life shown by Rise in that round, and it all starts with those rotations and the early Lancer damage that they've been able to put out. And I think I just saw this right. I believe Mental is 8-1.
So about like 20-3 between Powers and Mental. Is that what you're saying right now?
I'm speaking words. You just tell me what I'm saying.
Oh my gosh, they're just going off right now. But you got to give it to Rise, staying in that last round, knowing their win condition, knowing the moves that they got to make. But I'm still going to go ahead and look at some different strategies. I called out Rushies already once, and he made some adjustments. That's one thing I always talk about Rushies, improving his game event after event, match after match, giving different looks. Because normally in the past, Gears of War 4, Gears of War UE, where he really made that mark, he was kind of the head down, point A to point B, no in between. Now he's making some moves, making some distractions happen, and being the teammate that everyone needs him to be.
All right, hit me with the truth. How much did it just weird you out looking at UIU's screen that Explosive is playing Kate and that Kenny has switched to the female Nomad? Did that, because that caught me off guard. Every time I saw the female Nomad based on last night, I was like, oh, that's Explosive. And then I realized that Kenny is not playing Kate. And I almost had a small heart attack, but we're going to go on board with Fran as he's going to have a lot of Lancer angles here at the B hill. Both incendiary grenades already out, but UIU's cleaning up kills in the bunker. They got 2 more to worry about, and that could be the turning point. Of Xyz is going to get cleaned up, and that's going to give UIU free reign to rotate however they want and get shots onto anybody. Franchise is going to try to pressure up on the Mental. He's going to step back into the B hill. Praised will clean him up after some great rotational damage out from the rest of UIU. They're going to press up here. Powers gets called out. He goes to check the corner, but Rushy's waiting in the wings, said, I got you, buddy.
Even with that elimination, though, Rise cannot push up just yet, waiting for a couple of their players to go ahead and respawn, but now they're going to go ahead and backtrack. I want to speak on that one thing real quick. You talk about the Kate, where you talk about the female hunter, and the thing is right now, Colin, is as casters, as spectators, yeah, you get confused, you see that type of thing, but it keeps the enemy team guessing, because exactly what you said, you got to think in those tight scenarios, it goes off memory, and Rise might call out a character saying, hey, Kate's one shot, it might be Kenny, but it's Explosive waiting, and you already know these guys have 2 different play styles. That'll be a quick surprise, but as all that's going down, Rise taking enough time, they take control of the top side bunker. That's going to give them an opportunity here, because they have to make the move. Do you continue pushing down, or do you cut towards the middle?
but they're all on the top of bunker. It's going to take a while for them to rotate down and around through mid-map to try to get to the B hill. Praised is over here with, I believe, Mental. They've been holding down that second half home hill side of Rise. They're going to get chased out of that building now back toward the B hill. A lot of damage out on a Mental. Praise is going to make it for the revive for a moment. Mental's going down again. Here comes Explosive getting his own revive off, and it looks like Rise went for the head fake, and they have now gone to the B hill. They're going to try to overtake it. There's the decap by Rise, and they are going to try to stay here, but UYU, a little rotation of their own, getting some kills, putting the pressure back on him. He's going to push up on the Rushies on that back box, and now you see the 1v1 breakout between Praised and Rushies, and the wrap shot for Praised finds its target, and he settles down on another one. He goes back to back. Two for baby. He got two for the price of one, and Powers finds himself in them. Back to back to back. Three members of Rise Nation within about 3 seconds have died off the map. That kill will help the stat line, but it will not help you win this round. We are going to have a 3-1 going into the second half in favor of UYU.
And one thing I want to take note real quick is say his name again. Rushies, one of the biggest main slayers for the squads. We look at this replay. Praise, full red gets one, showing no fear, not backing down, getting the other one. But Rushies, one of those players, he's the star of Rise. He is the main slayer for the squad. He gets down on his lives so early on. He can't necessarily be the tip of the spear that they need him to be. So going into the second half, I'm going to be watching, taking note, and looking at his respawn economy and what he's really doing with his lives, because if he falls into a hole yet again into the second half, he's going to have to change his playstyle. So somebody else on Rise is going to have to step it up and be that super slayer along with Inzim.
Drop shot placed back of bunker, so UYU will have the initial utility in their favor as they have two coming out of the loadout, whereas Rise will only have the one for the next round or so. But the big team fight will break out of the back of bunker, because you got to go for the drop shot. Why wouldn't you? You don't want to give up a free drop shot to the other team, especially players of this caliber. But flash grenades going. We got another 4th of July special as Rushman misrolls into an instant from Mental, but the kill's being picked up by Inzim. He's doing his hardest to even up the battle. Finally, he is going to get taken out by Explosive and make that a 2v1 to end that initial. Fran all by himself. Drop shot in the hands of Mental. And since it's the longest respawn timers again, there's not a ton of members of UYU alive to go ahead and press forward. So the players that are alive, particularly Fran, is going to go ahead and hide and make sure that they can't find him as you see them circling around the neutral hill. I really love what Fran's doing. There's a long range incendiary. Misses Kenny. Goes for the sneak kill. Won't be able to get it. And I think he's going to try to get the hell out of there. Now you're going to see Explosive rotate up to the top of the bunker. Mental has a lot of damage onto him. He could go down. He has the drop in his hands. They actually just fly at him. He does get the Nasher out. I can see the UYU skin on the Nasher go to the ground. It is that beautiful pearly white on the front end of that Nasher. So you can tell that's what came out of the corpse. Explosive tries to rotate back, though. He's going to get angled out and go down. Rise Nation looking like they're going to be able to take control of this, even with all the kills and the power weapon in favor of UYU early. Rise looks to get a 2-to-1 hill advantage and the control over the top bunker area, and UYU is going to have to make a decision. Do they go for D or do they rotate back to E? But right now, at least Praised, and I believe that's Kenny, around that mid-cut area, just trying to make sure they get a little bit of an advantage in the sightlines.
And this is where the rotations are going to come through, as they see nobody really across them just yet. That is going to be Franchise and Iceman, not necessarily playing up top, playing the rotations. So once they got their push ready, UYU's gearing up. You see two people towards the middle, two people towards the top side. Explosive and Power is going to be putting out as much Lancer fire as possible, but Kenny from the middle finds that cheeky angle. A lot of damage on Rush, forcing Rise to make a move, and they somehow find Praise and get it down.
Rushies is going to go down in the backside where that drop shot will spawn again momentarily. You see Powers is going to set up shop back there. He's basically going to pitch a tent, get out the Coleman Lantern. He's going to go camping until that thing spawns, because they're not going to give up this positioning. They have the bottom middle of the bunker now. They almost got the E back into their favor. Praised almost goes down for it. He does go down, as a matter of fact, in the middle, but Explosive turns around and hits the up A and gets the kill. Mental comes in from the mid-cut, secures another one and the revive, I believe, on to Praise. So they still have full control over the bunker, full control over E, and Powers now has the drop in hand. They have gotten everything back into their favor. This retake was picture perfect, capped off with another kill for Powers.
Wow, and he does
Oh my
it
goodness.
again. Another double kill with the drop shot. And every time I think Rise is gaining some momentum and beginning to find themselves, they immediately get shut down by either explosive or powers. You know, mainly powers in this particular matchup. He's just going off. And I know you used to say it on your side streams for the Girls Pro League matches. Anytime you got power on the camera, he's getting no less than a double kill, and that holds true here again, and it's also rubbing off on his teammates as Kenny and Explosive pick up a pair of kills on the big slayers from Rise. So I talk about somebody needing to step it up, and I keep looking at Rushies, but Icy, even though you're not the guy that is in the slaying opportunities, you might need to find those opportunities here.
Icy has one respawn in the first round of the second half, down to 2 for Rushies, down to 2 for Fran, 2 are everybody. I mean, this is like, where's WWE with a Be a Star campaign? Stop bullying out here. I mean, that is a lot of lives invested in the first round of the second half. That's 4-1. All those lives you invested to try to get it, and it looks like we have a dropout. It looks like somebody from UYU, Mental
Praised.
Powers Explosive. Okay, so Praised has been dropped out of the matchup right now. I'll be curious to see. I believe the call is going to have to be that you stay in spawn because they ended up winning the round and they're starting a brand new round. So I assume you just stay in spawn, correct, PR?
Yeah, I agree. And if they don't, guess what, Colin? I'm going to join the game and I'm going to play for Rise or UYU. And you know what? I'm not going to say we're going to win a round because I can't guarantee that. I'm not that good.
I was going to say, I was going to say with the way UYU's playing, I could join and we might win the 5th round. I mean, I might even have to do nothing. I might just have to, you know, put some shots out, maybe throw a lance or somebody. I won't break a controller because Kenny's on my team, and we all know that once he joins the squad, I don't break any more controllers.
But this could be a blessing on the side of Rise. Kind of, it's obviously they're not doing it on purpose, but it's a moment that they can kind of ice UYU here, even though they're waiting for Praise to get in. But this is that moment. Affinity is probably talking to them along with Franchise, trying to get their heads on straight. Because right now, honestly, it seems like we got 5 Headless Horsemen as a squad. Even though they're doing some great things as a unit, they're in some of these rounds. When it comes down to clutching them and finishing off strong, they're not doing just that. And I talked about the 3rd round being a screen round. They lost it, or they won it to keep it in the game this far, because you got to think if they lose that round, it's a 5-0 sweep by UYU.
So I'm gonna just I like what our technician's doing right here. I like this, showing off those beautiful UYU skins that you can purchase in the in-game store. I mean, you can go and buy them. Look at that. Oh my God, what a camera angle, showing off that glorious Nasher on the back of UYU Mental, playing that unbelievably monumental character. We all know and we all love him. Dominic Santiago, voiced by one Carlos Ferro. You don't know who Carlos Ferro is? On Twitter, at Real Carlos Ferro. He is the voice of Dominic Santiago. He is the voice of probably one of the 3 most legendary characters in the game. I would give Dom top 3 in all of Gears for legendary characters, wouldn't you?
Oh, 100%. Dom, one of my main characters. I know Blades uses him. Mental's using him. If Mental's using him, he has to be a top character, right? I feel like that has to be a case.
Look, just put Billy in the game and let him play by, like, he's that good. Just make him a playable character.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this though. Early on, and I talk about it every time for map number 1s going in. Anytime I see Rise on the screen, they have a slow start. And look at those Rise squad. We Rise. Make sure you guys go ahead and buy those skins. Support Rise. They might need it to get back into this one. But I talk about franchises, teams in general, having a slow start in matchups, especially against the elite teams. But now it's 4-1. This isn't the start of the game anymore. So Franchise, if you could hear me, it's time to pick it up. It's time to play lights out. And I can expect Rise to win a couple of these rounds here, whether UYU is conceding after the initial or they're just playing lights out and bringing it together. This is where it matters most. Even if you're going to lose this map, you need to start building the momentum here for map number 2, because you don't want to go in cold. You don't want to go in with UI riding on a high.
Definitely don't want to go up against them if they are feeling themselves. Enzem with the generic weapon skins. That's what it is. I figured it out. That's what it is. He doesn't have the right skins on.
Avexi.
Yo, my man, Avexi got the pizza skins though.
Yes.
Let's go.
Now I'm hungry, Colin. Now I'm hungry. Avexi, you owe me a pizza now.
Look what you did to PR. You forced a pizza out of him. Liquid metal skin on the other one. His Lancer is liquid metal skin.
Does he oh, look at that chrome steel. Who is
that's liquid metal.
Chrome steel?
That's liquid metal.
No. On the character. Fran's character.
Fran's character is the chrome steel drone. The chrome steel drone elite.
Can you tell me anything about this bolter, though? I know it's not. It's the character Icy. Tell me the history of the Bolter, because when I saw him, I had to buy him. So tell me why I had to buy him.
So if you go over to Iceman right now and you get a close-up on the Bolter's character is actually based on an old gladiatorial helmet that has that big knife edge on the front of it. They used to build, like, drones used to use those helmets, especially early on in their wars against the Lambent, because that's who the drones originally had to fight after they killed off the humans in the New Hope facility where they were basically birthed and came out of the ice and started fighting off Lambent Sea underground. Those helmets actually have a huge blade on the front, and they would just ram into the Lambent. And as we all know, the Lambent would actually explode because they're a combustible resource. They're an organism that explodes with enough damage being done to it. So they would create a helmet. They have a little eye hole that they can shoot out of, those big shoulder pads. So Bolters were basically a special force, like a mini berserker, might you will, in Viking times. His job was just to go in there and make a Lambent explode.
I wouldn't want that job at all.
That's not a job I would look for.
I don't want that job.
Like, in their society, you just follow orders. They have a chain of command, and if you don't follow the chain of command, you probably get your head chopped off by somebody like Rom.
Oh, man, that's not something I want going in, but I want to go back right into the action and to talk about both of these teams, because 4-1, we already talked about UYU with a massive lead. Rise, they're going to have a bit of coming back to do, might need a miracle on the side, but besides that, what exactly do you think they have to do to get back into this one? Because a lot of their strategies just simply aren't working for them.
I think what Rise needs to do is that they've really played into the aggression of UYU. UYU has pressed a lot of these fights early, has forced out a lot of different looks from them, where Rushies has gone from bunker down to artillery and it didn't work. One of the things that they have to look at is probably getting those Lancers going early, get themselves set up maybe a little bit further away from the matchup, allow UYU's aggression maybe to haunt them. I mean, they did it against PK a couple of weeks ago when PK was just flying across the map. I believe it was in Emergence days, where UYU, and I mean Rise, instead of playing into that aggression and trying to outdo their aggression, they said, all right, guys, look, we're going to back off. We're going to just Lancer you. We're going to get the down and damage early and make you play against us.
Okay. I like the breakdown. I like the strategy coming through. It's just a matter, obviously, if you're able to execute these strategies and play it to perfection on them, because UYU right now is playing lights out. Like I said, a lot of the strategies being thrown at him. You talked about Rushies adapting, giving different looks, going up top, going down low, but the result has been the same on most of these initials. He does get taken down early, and like you mentioned, they invested a lot into round number 1, and I gotta think that was a mistake. Do you agree with that?
I think that, how do I put this? Rushies has always been quick to the fight. Like, every team he's ever played on, he's always been quick to the fight. He's always been first to the drop when it needs to be picked, or a quick pick weapon. He's always been there and has always been the tip of the spear. And this is one of those times where you have to blunt your own spear. You have to beat UYU with a shield. So you talk about putting Rushies into that fight. He keeps getting down, and I talk about bringing him back out of it. You can't keep forcing that life out of him. You're basically throwing a 4v5 for the first 30 seconds of a round.
Okay. I like the way you break this down, Colin. And I got to do one more for the fans. I have to do it every single match I cast with you. On the spot right now, I need an analogy from UYU.
Coming to us, baby. We're coming to us. All right. I thought I heard something else. I thought I heard something else. I said, what's going on here? What are we doing? So we have had a player lag out of the lobby. We are trying to get them back in and reset it as fast as humanly possible. Jacob, MVPR, and myself are in the midst of a 4-1 lead for UYU on bunker. Apologies to everybody. We hope that you stay with us through this technical issue. We hope to get back into the game as soon as humanly possible.
Yep, and hopefully, hopefully this isn't the end. But if you guys want something to watch, you want to see why UYU is playing so well, take a look at this video. It might give you a little bit of insight.
Let's take a moment to learn a little bit more about UYU. Colin, break down his roster for us.
Hey, look, simple, quick breakdown. There's more championship trophies across these 5 players than there are in the rest of the world combined. Everything starts with that IGL explosive, and it's going to fall on the shoulders of guys like Mental, Praised, and Powers to get those flash and dash kills. But never forget, lurking in the shadows is probably the most mechanically skilled player in the history of our games, Kenny Bounce. He's going to make sure that everything goes to plan and perfection, because we even got to see it in last major, that when things get crispy, he's ready, cool, calm, and collected to get that double kill, take a hill, and get that round.
Do you think they're back to that old dynasty?
Without a doubt, they went back to the dynasty, and one of the things they lacked early on in Gears 5 is they lacked a secondary field commander, which is what they went out and got in Kenny. They said, look, we need somebody that can make calls on the other side of the map, because Gears 5's meta and their maps are so tuned to be about precise movement. You've got to make the right call at the right time. They needed that second battlefield commander. They had all the ingredients to make a beautiful, beautiful dinner, and they said, let me get a little dessert on the end. Let's get a banana split to finish off this absolute god squad. And they said, what better banana split on the planet than Powers? He just makes everything easier. He gets kill after kill. He can do it with any weapon. And oh, by the way, I still love to call that man a Shinigami, because he controls his own destiny and his own death.
We know this roster, they got the best defensive player in the league, the best offensive player in the league, and 2 of the greatest minds that we have throughout our league. Now, the question is that can they do it once again and hoist another trophy? I guess we'll have to find out. Let's learn a little bit more about this new look Rise Nation. Ryan, tell me about the boys.
Yeah, so this Rise Nation team, man, it's kind of, 2 forces coming together, right? You have that core from Quarantine, or formerly Reciprocity, joining up with kind of the 2 superstars from that Rise Nation roster. So I think that there's a lot of high hopes for this team. I mean, they have kind of what we call that formula right now, right? They had that core 3, and when that Quarantine team or the Reciprocity team split up, the roles they filled weren't necessarily the roles that they saw success with, right? The 2 players that left were Kenny and were Powers, right? And those 2 roles, you have a very, very heavy Slayer, and then you have kind of a secondary communicator, kind of secondary in-game leader. Mortifies and Solars just weren't that fit, right? But now you fast forward to this new Rise Nation team, you have a Vexies and you have Inzem. Inzem very much can fill that role of Powers, right? A very big, high-octane Slayer, gets a lot of kills, makes those highlight plays. And then you have a player like a Vexies, who was kind of the IGL on the old Rise Nation team, now gets a chance to kind of take a back seat, be that secondary role, and kind of try his best to fill that role Kenny left with.
How do you think Franchise is going to be able to whip those guys into shape to be a championship caliber roster?
Franchise, to me, I think is the best IGL in Gears of War 5, right? I know Gears of War 4, you could definitely give the nod to Explosive, but I think Gears of War 5 is much more, a game for Franchise. And I think he's always, over the course of his career, been very good at getting the most out of his teammates. Inzem especially, I think, is going to get the most out of teaming with Franchise. Effects, he's going to learn a ton as well, because again, the guy just always manages to bring the best out of his teammates. He's a great person to kind of learn the fundamentals of the game from, and he's just done it time and time again across a number of titles. So to me, there's no better person to learn from. They used to be very much just Wolfpack, in your face, shotguns, and to be honest, that's kind of part of why they never saw a ton of success. They got top 3 at that major, but they never found themselves in a grand finals, and they never found themselves holding a trophy. So I think that there's going to be a lot to learn from those guys. And again, they're learning from some of the best, to ever do it.
Colin the Crow Clark here, and a hidden talent that all of you have kind of learned so far is that I play golf. I've played it competitively for a while now, and I'm going to give you a first 2 lessons that I would give any of my friends when I try to teach them. Lesson number 1 is how I grip the club. When you come right down here, you lay the club down, cross your hand like that diagonally, take your first grip. I like to see 2 knuckles there. Bring this hand under, pinky and index. You're going to interlace them so it looks like this on the backside where I interlace those 2 fingers. You just want it to be firm enough to kind of hold the club. You're not trying to grip it. You're not trying to actually strangle. Strong enough to keep a bird in there, but not hard enough to harm it. I've shown you how to grip it. The only other thing that you got to learn is how to rip it. And the easiest way to do that, tee it high, let it fly, and let your hands extend away from your body. That's one beautiful shot.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Jacob, MVPR, and myself are back at it with the static because we, I believe, have the chance to take a look into a second game. That is correct. Probably our Bravo stream game that we're going to try to get into as quickly as possible. PR, I know you're excited for this one.
I'm excited as watching you in that golf video. Hit it high, let it fly. And that's what UYU was doing right before that technical difficulty going on the side of one of their players. But I'm excited to jump into this match. The more matches, the more players get in the showcase, the merrier. And I'm happy to be a part of it.
I can't. You think you're happy to be a part of it? I am the Gears nerd. Let me absorb it all. Let's throw it straight into the game. Let's get into the action. Let's get back into the trenches. You're going to see Shock here on the B hill going for the 2-1 hill cap. We have the Kansas City Pioneers versus Parallax Gaming here in front of you. This is map number 1 on District.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see Shock. I watch his streams, his wagers. He puts a lot of time into the game, a grinder of sorts. And I'm looking at Kyle. I'm really interested to see how Kyle's performing because I've seen a lot of noise yesterday about Kyle just going off, and he does it again. That's going to be a big double kill for the squad. And you can already see it through the overhead map on screen. They're swarming around the remaining players of Parallax, but Versa gets taken down, misrolling at the wrong time. Jax goes in, tries to get another one, but gets taken out. A team down coming through, but a revive as well. Kyle, the guy I just talked about, a massive double kill, does it again.
And that's a beautiful job. Critical Kyle going back to that old school name. I know he's just Critical nowadays, but he'll always be Critical Kyle to me. Way back when from Dream Team back in UE, doing a beautiful job. It is one of the best players in the planet. One of the best players to have never won a championship. If you ask me, Gary, though, he's going to get that drop shot. He's going to get the hell out of Dodge as well. He's going to go back to the A-Hill. You can see Aversa and Detox both on 0 lives, but Shockwave and Nero as well. So if you are Kansas City and you want to get your first round on the board, you need to make sure you get one of those 2 kills so that you can secure some hills and maybe get it to 2-1.
They get over 200 before they get 150. Yep, that's a win-off-1 scenario. So Parallax are not only going to have to decap 1 hill, they're going to have to decap both of these hills if they're looking to take this round. You already see the overextension coming through. Great drop shot by Gary to take out Aversa. So 1 hill's already being decapped, but on the other side of things, that's going to be Shock threatening their own home hill. Detox picking up that big kill. B is going to stay in control of the Pioneers, even a 2nd hill as well. So even though they trail 2-0 at the moment after this round, they'll win their first one on the board, and they already have a map lead, so bringing it together in map number 2.
Good job by Kansas City here, getting that first round on the board for him. You're going to see, I want to take a look here across the stat line. Critical with 13 kills, 6 assists to his name. I believe he is leading the charge for his team and the lobby. So that's good news for them. But somebody that normally we'd think in a secondary position, a little bit of an extra lancer in the fight, is leading the way in the kills. He's putting on for his team. Maybe that might come about of Shock and Detox getting a lot of damage, or maybe even a down and continuing to move forward. But once again, we're going to have to go with that drop shot fight. This is a huge fight because both teams are going to vie for positioning early on, and it looks like you're going to see Detox get in there first. He's going to drop his flash grenade out and try to make it to this back cubby corner. He's going to have to get out of there, though. A lot of stuns come through. Gary gets 1 kill. Detox tries to slide in to get one of himself. He slides between 2 people and gets 1, but is shut down by Gary. So Gary comes away with the 2 kills and the drop shot with the early kill initial, going in favor of Parallax. They're going to be able to sit on the home-to-home advantage if they want to. Kansas City is going to have to take over that B hill.
Cool. Yep, and you see the players coming off a respawn. They're just trying to get in position because this push on their own home hill has to come through. But on the other side of things, Kyle needs to be careful, along with Aversa, who's fighting for this home hill. You have no extra respawns remaining. Detox as well, so not looking good in the final round for the half in terms of lives for the Kansas City Pioneers as Kyle gets taken down. Luckily for him, he has extra respawns to go ahead and make that manageable. Kyle pushing forward, he does, or Shock push forward, he does get the break, and even big kill coming through for Aversa as he takes out Nero. That's going to open up a pathway for Shock to go ahead and get in position towards this bandstand. If that new drop shot makes an appearance in about a minute, he'll be ready for it.
Great rotation by Detox there to help Aversa out. They get the downs, and I think Aversa's actually using the Union Jack skins. Got the old Great British Empire skins going in the side of Kansas City Pioneers. Shock is just waiting in the wings outside of C Hill. I think he's waiting to see where Lyrics will go if he tries to go into that hill, maybe try to get a decap. He might be going for a secret man kill here. This is going to be beautiful. Let's go back to number 8. Go back to number 8. I want to see what he does. Ooh, almost like Elmer Fudd. He was going hunting for rabbits, baby, but he couldn't get it. He couldn't get the kill. But I was so hoping that Lyrics might not have any idea who was there. I was going for the lulls, baby. I wanted the lulls out of this.
Where's the rest of Shock's team? Where are the rotations? He had 3 people just push him. They're a little bit late, but they're coming through nonetheless. Detox finding his way over towards that neutral. Got a little bit of a 2v2, but it's shut down. Make it a 2v1. Waiting for a couple other players to rotate over. This will be a break on the neutral. The Pioneers desperately need this break. They need the round to tie it up as well. Almost down 80+ points, so they need these moves with the next drop shot. Make it an appearance soon. They have control of the low side as well, so Pioneers in the driver's seat right now in this match.
That's a great first shot on by Shock. 2 shots and a down. This is setting up well for them. Somebody's going to be in that bandstand. It's going to be a Versa who's going to be back there waiting for members of Parallax to get into the fight. A lot of Lancer damage through for Shock. Goes to the back A onto Gary, trying to get the down. Goes to the melee. Finally gets the shot to come out from a Versa, but the triple cap domination being threatened. This is a little Mr. Krabs play right now. Shock is holding up 2 members. They get the reset on their own home, and now it is going to be up to Critical to maybe get one more kill to threaten this triple cap yet again. Shockwave in front. Goes wide on Critical. A little back roll. Tries to go for the 180. This is absolutely nuts movement out of him, but he finally gets shut down. And now Shockwave has to worry about the respawns of Kansas City because he is on the wrong side of the map. He will get taken down by Shock, but 3 members of Parallax are dead to only 2 of Kansas City. So a man advantage with Gary and Lyrics on the last life. They should tie this up, right? They should make this 2-2.
You think they should, but Parallax once more get that second under the control. Lyrics again, possibly overextending their last life out of the game. Now Gears has to fight a 1v3 for the game. He does have 2 hills under his control, so they're going to keep on to the lead for now, but 1v2 right in front of him. You can't just sit there and look at him. I know you're stunned, but you need to make a play. They're capturing it right in front of you. Shots being railed out, but denied by the Pioneers as they tie it up.
Pioneers circling the wagons and tying this up at 2-2 going into the second half. And PR, I'm going to give a little bit of a update to our chat. I would like everybody to know that UYU and Rise suffered a technical difficulty, and while we await for that to possibly be settled and for us to maybe get back in there, we are going to go with Parallax and Kansas City because this is, I believe, a lower bracket match, if I'm not mistaken. The loser does go home, PR. Loser goes home right now. So this is a very monumental match going on here on the Bravo stream. We brought it over here to the Alpha while we wait for things to get set back up. We hope that you stay with us because these 2 teams vying for their tournament life here and now in front of you. 2-2 on map number 2, tied up. Can Kansas City close it out?
It's time. Shock's making his appearance. Shockwave gets a huge shock, but it's downing almost everyone in the game. And here, now it does look like the Pioneers are coming out on top. They were there to clean up those downs and save Detox's life. Now into the second half, a strong start for the Pioneers, led by momentum from the ending of that second half. They get the drop shot, and Kyle is keeping his terror going. Triple cap domination sounding off for a moment. Can Kyle defend this hill? He has 3 players, make that 2, finally getting shut down. They touch it barely by the hairs of their chinny chin to keep this one alive.
This is great pressure. Look at the way that Kansas City set up around that cubby. Zero thought he could go for that first shot on and get that 1 kill over the hill. Now he's got to worry about 2 in front of him. T-Tox steps out of the hill because he knows he's got Shock there to finish the cap. Gets the shot on and out, and they go up 3-2. That's 3 in a row for Kansas City. They are 2 rounds away from knocking Parallax out of this tournament and moving on with their tournament life well intact still. We see the Shocks on both sides sitting at 2 minutes apiece. Kansas City looks to be evening up the utility grenades in the initial loadouts, though, with those flashes in the hands of Pell. Parallax, I assume, is probably going to put something either at the ATM or maybe half the time of their own Shock. They're just flying around the map right now, a little bit crazy, not sure where they're going to put it, but they are going to settle in over that Shock at half the time. So simple and easy, a lot of utility fighting over that drop shot initially. PR, once again, is it going to come down to the placement of that Shock grenade on who comes away with this initial win?
Yeah, it's mostly, yes, going to be on the placement of that shock grenade, but in both Gary's and Detox maneuver around, dodging the shock grenades, dodging the flashes, as Gary just goes right in, makes short work of Detox, but he did not dodge the shock grenade, so he's going to go down nonetheless. Luckily, he has Jax there, and they found a sliver of space that they can survive in just a short moment. They're going to get the drop shot as well, so a successful opening for Parallax Gaming, and this is what they need after losing that round to the Pioneers in the fashion that they did.
It's a great couple of kills. Versa answers back, though. Him getting a double kill there and a third. Now the drop shot will be used to take care of Shock. Jack will pull out the snub, that MX8 snub. Will put in some early damage, but he's got a lot of shots onto Aversa. Little sip inside, dip and dive, dodge and duck, gets him another kill, and Aversa has 4 in the last 12 seconds. There must be something to that Union Jack on his Lancer Nasher snub. There's got to be something to that. That EU strength must be coming through right now.
And I think a lot of players ate their Wheaties today. They're coming out swinging. They're ready to play, win their share of that prize pool. I know first place alone walking away with $100,000. Lyrics trying to go ahead and sniff that money, but Shock and Detox are going to go ahead and take him out on the other side of the map. Parallax is going to keep things moving, though, going forward in a counterclockwise motion. They're going to go ahead and get that neutral hill, but their hill stolen right back out from under there. The Pioneers are always seem to be one step ahead. Even on this fight down here, they're bouncing around, making things happen. Pell's able to take out one. Pell gets a second. I talk about being a step ahead, and that is the result.
I'm not gonna lie to you. One of my favorite fights to see is when somebody's bouncing around in front of another player like that. And Pell, you know how he just sat on that cover? He just looked at Gary like, "What are you doing, man? What is this all for? What are you proving?"
I used to give Pell a lot of flack Gears Pro League because you look at Pell's history from Gears of War 4 over to Gears of War 5. Pell was a super slayer Gears of War 4. He's really finding himself in this game, and after talking to Shock as well, slowly but surely they're putting it together. And what a better time to put it together than during the online major. They already had some intense comebacks already on Friday, and they have a 3 round in a row comeback here in this map against Parallax Gaming. And let me remind you, this is just our Bravo match. Right after this round, we're going to go right back on board UYU and Rise Nation.
And what a beautiful look in, though, that UMG has given us into this Bravo match. This is an intense round. It's down to the final 30 seconds. Points are still not, but separated by about 20 to 30 as these hill accumulations will come through. The drop onto Shock will find at least one. The other member of Kansas City is going to back out, so there's only 3 members of Kansas City alive on the map. They're going to rotate over to the home hill, try to take a 1v1. I believe Pell is going to try to win the home hill of Parallax, but he's going to go down as well as Detox. So this looks to be Parallax's round to be able to set up a 3-3 tie going late into map number 2. Parallax looks to answer back and maybe get a map of their own and send it to a map 3. But with that 3-3, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to stop our personal looking, come back over to us so that you can see our ugly mugs for just a moment, because the UYU Rise match is set back up, ripping, raring, and ready to go. We can get back into that one as soon as possible. I know that everybody in the chat is probably excited about that one as we see number 1 NA versus number 2 NA. It was 4-1 on Bunker last time we were there, so can't wait to get back into that one as well.
Yep, and it was a great 4-1 if you're a fan of UYU. They were a lot of these initials, a lot of these fights. It was kind of dominated most of the way through. Even though Rise did show some life in some of these rounds, even winning one, this is where it matters. You don't want to go down 1-0 versus the undisputed champions of the last major event. It doesn't matter if you're number 1 in the Pro League, because guess what? This is championship finals that we got coming at for you guys this weekend. It all matters here. Everything you've been working for all season long ends here, and this is the moment Rise has been waiting for, with the backs up against the wall, comeback potential through the roof. That time is now.
Has to start right here. It has to start right now. And if you are a fan of Rise, you got to give them the love in the chat. You got to try to pump them up, because they are going to need any and everything going forward into this match. You can see the smoke grenades out, incendiaries, as well as the utilities in the spawn loadout. Power saves his splash for quite some time, tries to drop it at his feet to get a little bit of an extra stun, sliding into the cover. Was a member of Rise, but Powers is going to get taken out by Inzem. Good kill by him, and now Inzem is able to slide into the next kill of Praised, and they will have bunker control and control over the drop shot, and all Explosive can do is try to rotate back to his home and not die before somebody can get back off of respawn. But Rise is not going to give them a second chance in this one. They are going to fly toward the home hill and apply the pressure onto Mental.
This Rise needs to make the decision here, because they have everything going for them. You go for another round of slays. Do you have an aggressive setup? Vexes gets shut down. Now they're forced to backtrack. They're forced to run away, as Kenny's going to try to keep the pressure on Franchise. They need to get this neutral hill break. Inzem coming in, trying to make sure he's there. Franchise does have 2 drop shots ready for the push coming through from UYU. It's just all a matter of strategy. Are they going to brute force their way through the top? Are they going to spread their numbers? Are they going to try and create some sort of distraction on the side of Rise?
There's the first drop out. It doesn't connect with anybody. Powers is going to get a kill there onto Rushies. Kenny over the top of the bunker, getting a lot of Lancer fire on. No second drop has been shot just yet. There it goes. It bounces around and will take down Mental. So that's going to blunt the tip of the spear momentarily for UYU. Kenny trying to get shots on Inzem there in the back of the bunker. He's not actually going to be able to get the down just yet. So he's going to have to just continue to try to apply this pressure. And look at this. Kenny is just staying there, and nobody's challenged him yet from Rise. They have set up and set back here. They are doing a classic Fran-led team move. Franchise loves those setups and love getting a huge point lead, forcing teams to make the first move and make a mistake.
Oh, that was Kenny's opportunity right there. Fran wasn't necessarily watching. Fran was on a rotation. Inzem was full red. Now he's just trying to get past enemy lines, cause a distraction, and he gets out alive. So even though UYU did pick up some 2 kills, they're going to have to backtrack. They're going to have to hunt down Inzem, because once he gets this break on D, they will win off of 1 hill. They're going to go ahead and save that for Explosive, the IGL. So we got a battle going down on one side of the map. They still need both of these hills decapped in order to make it happen.
I want to see what UYU plans to do here, because one member's already died on the home hill of Rise. Inzem is wasting a lot of time here in a 1v1 against Explosive, and Inzem can actually try to rotate toward the hill and bait him out, and he does just that. Explosive misses a couple of shots. They're back and forth. He's going to go into the hill trying to make sure that they can secure that last hill and those last few points. Now the fight will go down at Rise's home. They will clean up the final kill, and Kenny secure their home hill, and that will be all she's said and done. Rise get another round on the board. 3 more to go to play perfectly to get a map #1 win. UYU still sitting 1 round away from a 1-0 lead in this matchup.
I know it might be too soon to tell, but that pause, that technical pause, might be what Rise needed. Talking strategy, talking what went wrong, talking fixes. And so far, after that first round, I do think they fixed some of their mistakes, but it has to be consistent fixes all the way through, especially if they're looking to complete the 4-round comeback. Because if you guys just joined us after that technical pause, it was UYU dominating 4-1 over Rise. So after that first round, Rise putting pieces together to complete their puzzle.
Come off of spawn here. Marks is in the hands of UYU. That'll be that's something. I'm not used to seeing that. It's probably going to go back up after. Somebody's probably going to go for the rotation and pick it up after this initial fight. Nobody's going to bring it into the initial fight. Right now, it's just going to be a lot of Lancer fire. The fight in the mid-cut is going to be going down just now. Powers trying not to get picked early again by Inzem. It looks like, oh, I believe that's Icy. Is that who? Iceman did come into that mid-cut trying to take the fight against Powers and gets taken down. Now we'll be able to see that drop shot fly out. The first one from Kenny doesn't find anybody. The second one from Kenny doesn't find anybody, but he does find one with an Asher. He can do it with any weapon. And now UYU has the numbers advantage at the E hill. They will secure the 2-1 hill cap, and unlike Rise, they're not going to push onto the D hill. They're simply going to let them spawn back up, and this is going to be a fight over the retake. This is going to be about who can set up perfectly and if their defense will be strong.
And it's another moment to go ahead and note for you guys out there, some teams that might be struggling. If you guys take a note of what UYU did, they got the eliminations, and instead of pressing forward, they're going for an aggressive setup. The reason being is because they didn't have anybody after that initial kill break through towards the enemy side. And because those respawns are getting ever so quick, they already knew Rise was going to spawn up and get in a position to defend their home hill. So they don't want to get themselves out of position. They don't want to get caught off guard on rotation. So they went ahead and tried to set up defensively, but they set up on the wrong side of the map. You see a push coming through from Rise on the other side, going home hill to home hill. Players like Inzem trying to make sure no one is hiding as they take control of this little cubby area. What would you call this area, Colin?
I'd just call that a bunker building. That's what I usually refer to on my own stream, but it is basically just a nice little angle around the map, and Lancer damage out from Powers is going to get that kill, but you have to make sure that you have to make sure there's nobody in there. You have to make sure and go in there and clear the room like a SWAT team, because if somebody's waiting on those top stairs as you go to push that home hill, that's just easy pickings. And now you're going to see the push comes out of the E hill. They get the decap. Powers is going to play his life, though. They have an 80-point lead. They don't have to rush in and try to stop them from getting the hill back. They can actually take this one member of Rise at a time. Vexies will be singled out and duoed down, as well as Rushies, and Kenny securing that kill leaves Fran by himself just outside of the mid-cup, playing a little bit of a secret man here. He's making sure that nobody from UYU tries to over-rotate. Powers might actually see
he's
him in
on.
that cubby corner, and he does. He calls him out, gets the first shot on, and now
Oh!
gives him the roadie straight from hell right into his face and puts a shotgun to the gut, gets that kill. Now Kenny will be taken out at the backside of that U. He will get killed, and the E hill will get decapped. It's going to be all up to the F hill. 10 more seconds. You have about 7 seconds here to play with if you rise. A nice little reaction shot, drop shot, doesn't find anybody. Icy trying to flood in. UYU standing tall on their defensive setup. Praise will find one with the incense. Icy goes down. They get into the hill, but it is too little, too late. UYU secures map number 1, 5-2, dominating fashion, if you ask me.
And that, let me remind you guys, was a map pick by Rise. So in this matchup, UYU taking the opposing team's map pick, and then we're going to go over to training grounds next. So it's going to be up to Rise to go ahead and answer back and win this map on Rise or UYU's pick, force a map number 3 to try to take this series. And I already said this is a final style matchup, and most of that match was dominated from UYU. After that break, Rise did show some life, but I think it was just too little too late. So in this next matchup, they're going to have to take all of that momentum, all of that strategy that they used during that pause and fuel it into this next map, because it's do or die here. You're going to get sent to the losers bracket. You're going to have to fight against some of the best teams down on that side of things.
We're going to take a look at some replays here as we're going to be on board with Powers. And as you said in that map so eloquently, if you put the camera on him, he comes away with nothing less than a double kill. He gets one right there. He's definitely going to pick up one right there. I mean, that's just easy pickings. He's not even looking at you at that point, man. That's not fair. You can't do that, Powers.
Another
There's 2
one
more
right
for him.
there.
My goodness.
No, okay, no, that was a triple kill. My bad.
That was a triple. All right. Nothing less than a double is what you said. So I think it still counts.
True. It does. But man, that's a little highlight reel. But honestly, I want to see Rush step it up. Henson was doing all he can. I want to see players like Vexies and Icy step it up. I'm not necessarily pointing at Franchise, because he's kind of that balanced flex player that he usually shines when his team isn't necessarily playing their best. So I'm not going to really, say Franchise step it up. But heck, Franchise, you're going to have to step it up too. The entire team as a fuel unit is going to have to put their all into these next couple of maps, because like I said, once you go into that losers bracket, it's do or die. And right now, this is your last chance to get that extra cushion in the grand finals. You don't want to go down into that losers bracket and have to play UYU in the grand finals where they're up a map already.
I believe this is one of those situations where UYU, they're going into training grounds, and I wouldn't be surprised to see UYU throw a couple of different looks at Rise. I mean, and by that, I mean like early on, before you really get any power weapons onto the map, before you get any of those, drop shots at the U fight, maybe even underneath the overlook. We know how that's been a thorn of the side of UYU. Maybe Rise throws that out early, put it at the underneath overlook area and just make them fight over it round in and round out. But if I'm UYU, show them different looks. Overload the home hill side one round, overload the neutral side, and just see what they do, see what happens. If you've got them off balance like this, a 5-2 on map number 1 is a big win, especially on Rise's map pick, if you ask me. I try to keep them off balance, try to get the challenge of UYU and tie it up 1-1, or if we will see a 2-0 victory for UYU.
This is where it all starts, and already you see Mental trying to get a little bit of a different strategy. UYU as a whole going for this neutral hill capture, and it does look like they're going to go ahead and get most of that cap to come up, but it actually does not go through. Powers gets taken out. That is going to be first blood, forcing UYU to make some rotations. You already see on screen Praise trying to stretch forward home hill to home hill, cause that distraction as Kenny distracts 2 more.
And he's going to keep fighting both members of Rise right here, but the flank comes through for UYU by Praised, who helps him, gets the downs, secure the kills. They've got one more to worry about. Vexies in front of him, gets a brick onto Praised, hits him with an apartment complex, and now he has to back up because he's still in a 2v2. Gets one, gives the shimmy shake, but finally goes down to Praised, who will open up that lane toward the A-hill. I wonder if they're going to go for just the decap and try to back out, or if they're going to stay here and fight, and Rushies will be off of respawn with Fran, and Rushies, like a bolt of lightning, takes the head off of Praised and flies back toward that U fight the overlook area.
And while all this is going down, look at it, your eyes don't even have their hill. So that early defeat over Powers and UYU for that neutral is keeping them in the game after UYU made a good play to eliminate multiple members. So now, not only do they have the control over B, they have control over that overlook. So now UYU is not only going to have to fight for the hills, they're going to have to fight for the positioning on either side of the map. Because if you're going for B, you need to make sure you flush them out of the hallway. And that's exactly where Iceman is set up.
Over the top, Powers is going to move in, go for that decap, but as soon as he starts getting Lancered, he has to actually push all the way across into that little cubby where you're safe, you keep your head down, you can't get Lancered just yet, let his health come back. 2 members of UYU are there, actually. It's going to be explosive along with Powers. They're going to be set up behind this B hill. And I'm not sure exactly what they're going to be able to do here. They're going to throw that flashbang out. They're going to move up just a little bit further, but Icy playing all the way back. This is that defensive position that I was talking about. He is waiting for them to come down that hallway, and he's just going to continue to apply pressure and damage to UYU.
And the reason why this is such a potent strategy, the reason why you need to get that back hallway in this certain scenario is to take note what I said before. Rise had control of that overlook, so there's really no position towards that middle that they can be safe. But look, they turn things on their side with the flip of a switch, already having 2 hills in their control. And because Rise did not eclipse the 200 point mark before UYU hit 150, they will come back with 2, but it's in Rise's hands to get a few second break in order to keep it in their hands. Wow, Kenny with another double kill.
Kenny still putting on a highlight reel performance, secures the home hill of UYU for themselves. They're threatening the triple cap domination. A couple of members of Rise are in the B hill area, though. Avexi's is one of them. He goes down. Here comes Icy. He pokes out. He's going to try to get one. He gets it down, but he goes down, and the triple cap domination is secured by UYU. It took them about 3 minutes, 2:51 to be exact. But they win another round, and the round count sits at 6-2. They are 4 rounds away from a 10-2. If they were to shut them down here in training grounds. But I don't know if Rise is going to let that happen. I believe they're going to go a couple of rounds like we said earlier and maybe place that drop shot out and try to give them a headache, try to give them a big team fight to worry about. And Inzem is hovering. I thought we was about to see it, baby. I was getting hyped. I was about to come out my chair.
There, man.
I was about to run out the house and scream it from outside this window. Oh, baby. Like, it was going to be crazy.
I was ready for it. I was ready for this bloodbath action, kind of looking like a Royal Rumble with this many players on the map going at it. But taking a look at this overhead map, and UYU throwing something different the second consecutive round. Instead of playing for that neutral hill, instead of playing for the positioning, they go ahead and play for that U side of the map, and it's actually Rise making the rotation, trying to take control of the neutral hill and get an early lead.
Inzem is going to be set up here, backside, right outside of UYU's spawn. Rushy's going to get that double kill there. He's heating up. That's what you said you wanted to see. Explosive is going to be caught out on those stairs. Multiple Lancers getting shots on. Rushy still pressing up his advantage, but Kenny gets him with the 180 and gets the kill. Now the Lancers will be focused on him. He'll be caught like a rat up next to that cover and be taken down. And now 4 members of Rise around that A hill, pressuring it, going for a triple cap domination, but Mental has snuck himself over to the B hill and now gets the decap and will get the take. Rise, excuse me, will be set up with a home-to-home split here, and I believe that's picture perfect for them because it's going to force UYU to come back into the fight from both sides of the map. It's going to be a 2-headed spear attack by UYU in this next retake.
Yep, and you see them already making B their new home hill. They're stretching across the map towards Rise side of things, trying to make sure they catch people off guard, catch people on rotation. They're gonna let the score click up a little bit because they realize no matter what happens here, it's the success on this one push that will set them up for the remainder of the game. So it doesn't matter if you do it now or you wait a couple seconds and let Rise get an even bigger lead. What matters is the push. What matters is picking up these big kills and not letting anybody from Rise slip past to sneak that neutral hill.
I want to see what Mental and Explosive both have flashbangs here. They're going to throw one short, one long. They're going to try to flash both players of Rise, and I think they got at least one connection because they both back out for a minute to try to allow for the extra damage from the Lancers coming into the fight. So they're going to be fighting over this home hill. Rushies gets back in out by Mental. Mental gets one, goes to the 180, gets the melee down. He's got 2 to his name of Xyz now, and a 1v1 with Mental. Can he get 3? Can he put on a highlight? Don't get put on skates. You do, and you go down like a 1970s roller rink child who has yet to learn how to skate. And he will be embarrassed in front of all his friends as Billy Goat Baby gets himself free and has to pull the other 2 members of Rise all the way back across to the home hill. Things are in Rise's favor. They get the elimination domination, but my God, that was amazing.
Hey, he might have gotten embarrassed there, but I'd be okay with that if I get that round victory and make sure you take off a couple of those respawns on the side of UYU, but things are going to get right back up to 4s and 3s. But that goes to show how slow this game actually is because neither team wanting to make this a war, wanting to make this a bloodbath, they're making sure that every push, every defense is as strategic, as methodical as possible. But now going over to the top side of things, we're going to see a smoke drop down on one side, and UYU are going to be the first team to drop the drop shot.
They wanted to make sure it didn't go on the overlook. I'm calling it. That's why they went ahead and put it there. It says not going under the overlook. We are going to put it at the U fight. We're going to make this a big team fight at the U. I'm going to tell you right now, that was a beautiful play by Rise to get that round. I'm happy for him. It's tied up 1-1. This team fight's going to be about a lot of flashbangs. Rushy gets pushed. He backs up off of that cover, goes to the shot over, puts it into the top of the wall, gets taken down by Praise. Now Praise with a little up A action. We'll get a 2-shot down on Fran. Gets a melee onto Icy. He's going to continue to apply the pressure. That's 3 or 4 dead already. It is up to Inzim at the top of the overlook. He's going to have to worry about 3 members of UYU in the area. 2 in front of him, 1 from behind, going to be pistoling him down. They will secure that kill, but the hill will still go in favor of Rise as they all 4 come back off of respawn and get that first kill. When they use the secondary drop to get those kills, they will get 1 on Fran.
And I do think it's going to slow down just a little bit. You see UYU not pressing forward, but I want to take note. Something on that weapon selection that I did see besides that drop shot. Rise placed a smoke grenade down on their side. Typically, probably 99.9% of the time, that's a flash that gets upgraded to a shock later on to stop and take a hold of the other team's side of that U. But this time, it's like I said, it's a smoke. So that's going to get upgraded to an instant. So as this round progresses for that drop shot fight, there's going to be so much kill potential on an initial for Rise. And that's something we haven't really seen on this map so far. So Rise, we talked about tricks up their sleeve. They're already pulling out 1.
I told you they had to throw a wrench into the spokes of the wheel. Rushy's going to go for the overlook. He's going to be lancered down very quickly. Won't be able to get that first one. He's finally going to get taken out. Icy there, though, for the revive. Mental still finishes him off. He's going to be up top of the overlook. It's going to be a 2v2. Both teams have somebody in the heaven spot trying to cross over into the middle of the overlook, and Mental is getting every possible shot. It's not pellets coming out of that Nasher. It's small nuclear missiles. That's a fat boy launcher, if you ask me.
And that whole time, there's somebody supporting him. Somebody you wouldn't expect to be sitting back and lancering the whole time. That's going to be Powers, showing the versatility that he can possess for his squad. That entire time, anybody up there, Rushy's, Icy, just getting melted away. That made the impact of Mental shots that much stronger. Allowed for 1 shot downs, allowed for that big chunk. So you got to give him props there, being his head and being aware of the situation at a moment's notice. And that's one thing I always talk about is you got to be and fight fights where your teammates can help. What I mean by that is pretend Vexies is getting help right here. He runs underneath. Rise wouldn't be able to shoot for him anymore. So you got to make sure that you keep these fights somewhere where your teams can make a full impact. But a misroll coming through. Praise hits him with the Kenny special. Make that a double kill as he takes out Rushman as well.
Oh my God. Like slid straight into the barrel of an Asher. I mean, just 200 IQ plays sometimes. Just, you know what? I know how the game mechanics can work. Let me slide right into your right hand. Let me slide right into your Nasher and hope for the best. Franchise wins a 1v1 at the B Hill, but they're 6 seconds away. Long distance drop comes in, but that is a 2-1 round count victory for UYU. They are looking so good right now. I mean, sitting pretty. That initial off the back of that triple kill from Mental has just, it's got to have you shook. There's no way this is not something that you can imagine seeing. I mean, this is a completely different story from what everybody has been talking about for weeks. All the cracks in the armor, all the blemishes on the beautiful polish that is UYU, and none of it has meant a goddamn thing up to this point because they have not lost a map in this major.
Rise is hoping to make that 1 here and force a map number 3, and I'm looking at a Vexies with those instants. I talk about the kill potential on this initial. UYU is going to have to be careful, but with Flick Flag's coming through, and there goes that instance. I talk about a Vexies getting 1, but he's just trying to even up the fight, but Insim goes down. The advantage goes right back on over to UYU as Vexies pulling out his Lancer, taking out a ton of damage, but not a single member from Rise able to clean up that kill just yet. They do have the overlook, but for now, Icy does look like he might get pushed in a second by the members of UYU. That's explosive, taking the top fight against Iceman. Franchise going as well. We got a bait and switch going on from both of these teams. Franchise taking a lot of damage. He's going to go down. Revive's coming through from both of these squads. Franchise goes down again. Explosive goes down. We got a 3v3 towards the top. Who's going to come out on top? It looks like Rise, but trades are going on back and forth. Rushman finally trying to change the tide, taking out 1. He's going for another crucial shot, but he gets taken out himself. Colin, this is just a bloodbath.
This is an absolute brawl. This is a boiler room brawl, a back alley brawl, bar room brawl. Somebody get another name for it that starts with a B, because this thing is bad, baby. These two teams hate one another, pure and simple. Neither of them wants to give up an inch. UYU tends to try to take a mile, but at the end of everything, as it's all said and done, UYU gets the 2-1 hill advantage, but it looks like Inzem has gotten away with the drop shot. Curious if they're going to trade that off of Exes is down in the overlook. Icy's there for the revive, so they're going to be able to set back up. Drop shot out, misses one. He's going to go for the reload. He's going to try to get the second shot to actually connect on something. Franchise wins a 1v against Braised, and they have explosive in their sights, but they're going to have to push up.
Inzem missed that first drop, but I like the way he's holding on to the second drop here, rotating around. He's not using it all willy-nilly just to get a singular kill, because that's going to make a huge impact, especially if you see the drop shot coming up or a couple of players from UYU staggered. But oh my God, explosive with a massive shot. It's a massive movement to take out one. Goes for a double kill, almost a triple, but it's answered back by Iceman, getting a double kill of his own, saved by Effects. He's alive for just now, but he got two more members right in front of him. He wants to reposition, try to play it as smart as possible, knowing that second drop shot will be making its appearance sooner rather than later.
Mental's already set up in the back of the U. People are going to have to wait for that respawn. You're going to see Franchise pushes in first. He's going to be pincer movement down. Avexis is going to move up now. He's got a lot of shots onto Explosive. They're going to get it down. The Incendiary comes through from Icy and will burn Explosive alive. No pun intended, that Incendiary exploded directly on Explosives. I went ahead and said it. I had to. I couldn't help myself. But Vexi's now at the overlook. He's going to have to worry about two members of UYU in the area, but the flank is coming out. Icy on a big-time flank. He's going to be coming up behind Kenny. He's going to get that down. They're going to secure that kill. They're going to have to try to face off against Mental now, who is playing on this U. He gets himself one. Don't let him do it to you again. He's going to make a whole montage off of one game. He gets the down, but not the kill. So they fend off this wave of UYU momentarily. They've got the 2-1 hill advantage, but UYU has crossed the 200-point threshold, and Rushies is out of the game, PR. It's a 5v4 affected.
Adios, muchacho. Now the team has to do it 4v5. They don't even have the lead, but they're getting a couple big kills here late on. Make that 3 total eliminations. Explosive on his last life as well. Vexi's doing what he can, but he gets taken out by Mental. Inzem coming through late into the play. He gets that first drop shot, but he's going to go ahead and backtrack the win condition over towards the Swarm, but he's just repositioning, making sure that he has the reinforcements needed to make this final push, and this is where he's going to create some separation, use this drop shot, but unable to connect with anything. This is going to be a big opportunity if he's able to pick up this kill on Powers. Powers gets shut down. On the other side of things, on the neutral hill, though, it does look like it's being decapped. UYU taking control, pushing Rise off player by player until Fran truck sticks forward to try and make a play, but it's too little, too late. UYU hold on to that hill and hold on to the round and advance 3-1 over Rise.
That is a 3-1 round count, 2 rounds away from a 10-3 round count and a 2-0 victory for UYU. Rise is in the pits right now. They're in the trenches. They have got to fight out of this hole together. Fragmentation grenades placed by Rise. That's not something you see
I've never seen that
very often, but by God almighty, I love it. I hope to see some body parts flying on this initial.
The only thing different right now is 2.5-minute respawn timers coming through unless they have it down later. Frag grenade going out. Everybody just dives out of the way. No connection coming through. On the other side of things, Mental opens up with a double kill, a third from Explosive, and they're one step away from being on series point as Inzem falls. Franchise in a tight spot, takes one out, but he's gonna fall as well. Win by elimination coming through. UYU one step away from advancing to our winners finals.
4-1, quick as a hiccup. Fragmentation grenades didn't help at all in this one. All it did was force the members of UYU around that U-hill and get the kills earlier to put them down. And we're going to see what UYU decides to place. It looks like it's going to be another utility out of the respawn.
What is Rise place?
They're going to have the time on the nade. They need a 75-second nade. It's a minute and a half, or a minute 20 seconds or so.
I almost want to see a drop shot or a boom shot in the middle. But it's okay. Colin's better than me, and he's right.
No. Look, I stole some of Luxstradamus's foresight. That's what it was. I just pulled that out of the ether. That's all it was.
Okay, so this edition, it's going to be really, really different to see how Vexy's audibles with that grenade. You saw everybody dive out of the way. You can kind of know the grenade is coming. As long as you don't press forward and bunch up, you should be okay.
I want to see what they do here. There's the grenade. It comes out. It doesn't find anybody yet again. You can hear the beeps. It doesn't get anybody. Icy, though, will collect that kill on the back of the U. They've got 2 more to worry about. They get the first on the revive. Therefore, Explosive is going to have to run away now. Elimination, domination being threatened. Nobody's going to be able to get off of respawn just yet. It will be an elimination for Rise. They get a second round on the board, but once again, they are in the same position they were in map number 1 PR. They have to play perfect for 3 straight rounds.
And that's going to be hard to predict that it's going to be a perfect game coming out from Rise. For how they're playing so far, they're going to have to clean up a lot of mistakes if they want to make this 3-round comeback from UYU. It's definitely possible, but it starts here. They're going to have to do it without that big weapon we were talking about, the frag grenades, but with no connection so far, I don't think that's too much of a loss on the side of Rise. Now they can get FXs into the fight directly, maybe with a lance or maybe with a shotgun, so maybe connect with something after that.
We're going to see... Looks like UYU did stop to pick up the shock. I haven't seen the fragmentation get picked up by Rise on the other side yet. There's the shock. It's going to block off the retreat from Rise. Mental's going to have Rushy's trapped like a rat in front of him. They're going to get a 2-man shotgun kill onto him. But the flank comes out for Rise. The Vexies comes off the overlook. A lot of Lancer damage comes through. They're going to be able to pick up a secondary meat shield. And Inzem is now stuck there between a rock and a hard place. Multiple members of UYU in the area. 1 shot down from Kenny will get that kill. But 2 members of Rise are already off of respawn. You're gonna see Kenny pick up the drop shot. They swap things out. He goes to trade it off, and Mental's already dropped.
Just chucked it on the ground.
Perfect.
Here, pick it up.
Absolutely
Hurry.
Perfect. Go. Get away from me. I must return to my slaughter.
So it's gonna be up to Rise here. They're gonna have to create some miracles, create some big plays, almost create history as well. Looking to take out UYU, but Kenny needs to be careful. Oh my God, he's taking so much damage, escaping by what little hairs on his chinny chin that he has. But Praise on the other side, getting a huge double kill. And Vexys is stuck between a rock and a hard place, and he gets taken out. That's 3 straight kills coming through from Praise. Make that a 4th from Powers. If they get this elimination, could be win by elimination, but a couple players are going to spawn up to prolong this round as Fran doing all he can to stay alive and keep it going.
The dance of death between Fran and Powers, and Fran just starts bouncing in front of him. The absolute disrespect, the lack of compassion. Drop shot out, gets the kill on Icy. They've covered the 100-point threshold. They're up by about 70 to 80 points by the time I finish this sentence. And now Rise is having to fight from so far behind. It's going to be less than a minute where they have to make a perfect retake. They have to make a perfect play. And Kenny's actually going to back out. He's got 1 more rocket in his pocket, and it's going to be waiting to get a kill on somebody trying to rotate around the map. And as you all can see at home, through those x-rays, the players can't see them at themselves. So I believe Rise is going to have to try to hide their numbers and then make this push here coordinated. All the flashes come out. Kenny's waiting for somebody to try to push up and make a mistake. He gets a lot of damage on. Here comes the second flank from Rise, though. They're going to go after the home hill as well of UYU. And Kenny continues to back out as well as Mental. Drop shot in on Inzem. Won't find anybody. Rushy's waiting in the wings. Gets the kill. This could be the perfect retake.
I don't want to say I cursed him in my head because I'm thinking Rise, they need a big play. They need a miracle. They almost need a team wipe here in the final portion of this round as Inzem gets that drop shot towards the end. So he kills Kenny, taking out his, and now he gets one of his own. He hasn't been the best with it so far, but it's all about now. This is the moment to make up for everything. He connects with one on Kenny, gets the decap on the hills. Franchise trying to stay alive on the other side of things, but it's not over just yet. Franchise needs to keep this hill broken. Goes in against Powers. He gets the chunk. Franchise, Rise Nation, are they coming back?
They are going to mount one if I've ever seen one. Explosive is on 0 respawns as well as Icy. So the first one of those to die, and it looks like Praised is not going to respawn it. No, he does. He invests in this round. They want to go ahead and close things out right here. They're so close to the win condition victory. Icy bounces up against Kenny. Gets a lot of damage on. He goes down. He is wiped out. 5v4 effective. Here comes Rushies. The shock is down. That will buy them about 10 seconds where somebody will go into the hill and get down and just need to be cleaned up. Powers bounces in, gets the melee out, and it looks like UYU is going to be able to settle things in 1 more second. That is 5-2. They will get a 10-4 round count, 2-0 victory, not dropping a map yet in this tournament. UYU looks to be a conquering beast because all they have done is eat, sleep, victimize, repeat in this tournament.
That was just one heck of a matchup. And I honestly want to give UYU all the props in the world, playing lights out from start to finish. But I don't want to be that guy, Colin. I really don't want to be that guy. But I've been watching Rise so much throughout the Pro League, so much throughout Emergence Stage. Shout out UNG for putting that one on. But I honestly think we saw a 90% Rise coming out of this one, going up against a 200% UYU.
Look, we can go back and say that Rise lost this. We can talk about the mistakes they made. We can talk about the over-aggression early on Bunker and not knowing exactly what the trade-offs would be. I have to say this. This is not about Rise losing. This is not a bad Rise team. They are still the #1 seed in the North American region. They played their hearts out. This is completely and utterly, to me, about UYU playing the best I've ever physically seen them play. I mean, like, I know they just won the last major, and I know they had some struggles, and we talked about those blemishes, but this is a completely different animal. This is Leviathan type things. Demons of Mythos don't incur this much fear in other humans, as this team should be right now, and every other team still in this tournament.
I agree with you, because I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to take anything away from UYU. I'm just saying, how often do you see Rush miss as many shots as he did? How often do you see Inza miss as many drop shots as he did? So I got to give UYU props, because they didn't falter. Like I said, they played 200%. They played lights out, but Rise is going to fall to the losers bracket, and that 80% is going to have to go all the way back up to 100 and beyond if they're looking to make grand finals.
They're going to have to make sure that they get these kills going early. If you're Rise, you've got to wash this away right now, because you're going to drop into that lower bracket.